I started FOCUS back in the beginning of 2016 at Knox County Jail. I was told by the court, you do the program, you get to go home. At the time, I wasn't a Christian. I had been an atheist for 20 plus years, had no belief in God, and didn't want to do it, but I did. And didn't expect to get anything out of it. But God had other plans for me. And had it not been for the dedication of all the FOCUS instructors who took the time and the patience to actually help me and to teach me about God's love, I don't think that I would still even know, because I've never experienced it. Growing up, I remember being in marching band, and we all said the Lord's Prayer, but I didn't know why we said it. I didn't know for who or for what. I just thought it was something we did for good luck before a performance. So I really didn't know. So I'm really thankful that I had that experience. A few months into the program, I got saved, but I don't think I was ready to surrender everything at that time. I ended up being able to come to the FOCUS halfway house, Grace Place, and I tried to do things double-mindedly. I wanted to do things my own way and God's way, and didn't know at the time that that's just not possible. So I ended up getting in trouble and going back to jail. I ended up going to prison. And then, at that point in time, I said that I was giving up because apparently I'd tried the God thing and it didn't work for me. And I just thought that, it wasn't nothing. And once again, God had other plans for me. He sent me to Bledsoe and he led me right back into FOCUS with the same people that should have, in my mind, not cared about me at all. I mean, they had given me a chance and I blew it. But just like God does, they loved me just as much as they did before. They didn't judge me. They didn't condemn me for making a mistake. They just loved me and picked me back up. So it was through their love and care for me that I was able to realize that God's love was real and that there were real people that showed love just like Jesus does, and that I didn't have to be alone anymore. So through those classes, it gave me an opportunity to start building a relationship with God, to where I got to the point where I realized what I was missing as I was holding on to a lot of hurt and rejection and just a lot of pain from my childhood. And I wouldn't have been able to work through it if I hadn't have had somebody that cared enough to take the time to teach me a different way. So I'm extremely, extremely grateful for everyone who is a part of the FOCUS Ministries, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to start building the foundation that I have now. I have been home now for almost a year. I have a really good job. I'm about to get married in June. God has continued to bless me beyond all of my imagination. It overwhelms me every day. It's overwhelming to think that after all the things that I've done, been a drug dealer for years and stolen things and scammed people, and I've done so many bad things, that you would think that a God that's so holy wouldn't even care about a person like me. But he does. And so do the people of his ministry. Through each and every one of them, you can see Jesus through them. And if it wasn't for them, I would have never been able to even come into a relationship with God. I'm a very big active member of my church now. I sing in the choir. We've actually just started another little singing group that goes to different churches, and I'm a couple of months from getting ready to start back college and to finish my degree to work with troubled teenagers. That's what I want to do. I want to counsel teenagers because I feel like that's where things went wrong in my life. I didn't have anybody to just say, hey, there's another way. And maybe if I'd had, things would have been different. But it's okay, because through the things that I went through, if I can just reach one person, then it'll all have been worth it. Because I'll be able to save somebody from going through some of the mistakes that I went through. But it all started because some teachers who volunteered their time took their time to work with me individually, even apart from the regular class, because I had 100 million questions and nobody ever got frustrated or upset that I was continuing to ask sometimes the same question over and over again. And, sometimes I'd be like, well, that doesn't make sense, or why? And they never were, never short with me, they just, but mostly when I messed up so bad when I had much opportunity here at Grace Place. And then when I went back and I was in prison, and I thought for sure nobody would accept me back. They did. That showed me that there's so much more to life that I just never understood. When you come back into society, it's, especially from being sheltered, sheltered for like 2, 3, sometimes even longer years, you come back and everything's changed. Places are different, everything looks different. Sometimes you don't even know where you're gonna go. You can't get housing because now you have a record. You can't get a good job because you have a record. It doesn't even matter. I have a college degree and couldn't get a good job at first. It had not been through blessings of knowing somebody who knew somebody, and it's very challenging and sometimes very discouraging, and it's easy to fall back into old habits if you don't have a good foundation and a good support system. Then it's real easy to say, well, I can't get a job, so I might as well just go back to selling drugs. And then that just turns you right back into the same cycle, and it's just like a circle that never ends. So without that support and that help to help you have housing, sometimes you don't even have, like when I came home, I didn't have any clothes, I didn't have anything, just what I left the prison with. And through help through ministry, that was how I got on my feet. But it's just almost impossible to do alone. If you come out here and you're on your own with no help and no support, it's not just statistically that you'll go back. It's almost a certainty.